Good evening. I'm Jim Roberts. I'm the host of Senior Living at Alexandria. We're pleased to be with you this evening. Let me speak to the series. We have this series of programs addressed to seniors in Alexandria to provide information to them about programs and assistance to discern their needs and to learn about not just seniors but also caregivers, families, etc. I'm pleased to have with me this evening, once again, Mary Lee Anderson, the Executive Director of Senior Services of Alexandria, and I'm particularly pleased to have a good friend and citizen at large of Alexandria, John Porter. I've known John a number of years, but he currently is doing invaluable work in the Alexandria community for Act for Alexandria. So John, tell us a little bit about Act for Alexandria, and then we'll get into an exciting program that I know you have underway with Senior Services of Alexandria. How did it start, and tell me about your involvement in it? What do you do at Act for Alexandria?
Thank you, Jim. I'm glad to be here this evening. Act for Alexandria is Alexandria's community foundation. We were founded in 2004 as the result of the generosity of a family in Alexandria. The Sterling family, Gene Sterling and his daughters Kristen and Lynn, lost their mom and his wife in a tragic accident, the September the 11th attack at the Pentagon. She was on the plane, and they were a very philanthropic family before her death and decided after her death that compensation received as a result of her loss needed to be put back into the community to do something good for the community. A number of people got together with Gene and came up with the idea that a community foundation could not only do some good immediately, but could leverage the dollars that they were contributing to a greater cause over a period of time and help many, many others in the community over the years. Mm-hmm. We generally work with families in addressing basic human needs in Alexandria and work to try to connect donors with causes and nonprofits to help them increase their capacity to deliver their services.
Let's first go down, tell me a little bit about the donor side. How does that work, and what are your goals?
Well, on the donor side, we have a program called Donor Advised Funds, and basically people can donate money to their donor advised fund, a fund in their name, establish a fund in their name or their family's name, and over a period of many years can distribute that money in a grant type format to nonprofits or causes for which they care about. It's a wonderful opportunity for a family to continue their giving from generation to generation, and receive some tax deductibility at the present time when they make the donations to their fund.
And then what do you do with those funds? What are the programs you have in the community?
Yeah, those funds are directly, those funds are used according to what the donor wishes them to be used for. They can be donated to any 501c3 charity, school, or church in the country, and many outside of the country. ACT has its own community fund, and with our community fund, we provide grants to nonprofits to help them with their capacity to deliver services. As we say, we don't feed hungry people, but we help the organizations that do to increase their capacity to do that even better than they're doing it.
Aren't you also in a leader position in terms of enhancement of nonprofit management, collaboration among nonprofits, allowing better communication among service providers? Isn't that a facet that's developed over the last few years of the program?
Yeah, that's another program or another service that we provide the nonprofit community. We're a convener, we're a collaborator. Mm-hmm. We bring like groups together to talk about issues that are affecting our community. We provide workshops to help strengthen leadership within the various organizations in town.
What do you think the impact has been for Act for Alexandria in terms of the trajectory that you provided to the community?
I believe, first of all, we have a very caring community in Alexandria and a number of wonderful nonprofits that are doing a great job. These past few years since the recession hit have been extremely difficult, and the most recent shutdown of the government and all that we've gone through around that certainly has been problematic for nonprofits because they tend to see an increase in need and therefore more services that are being required, and there's a tendency to have less donors or less donations coming in to help offset that. What we believe we have been able to do is to help those nonprofits strengthen their ability to deliver their services and help them sustain their operations over a longer period of time.
Don't you tell me a little bit about Spring to Action? Isn't that a relatively new aspect of what you do, one of the many dimensions?
Spring to Action has been really a wonderful opportunity for nonprofits to use an online platform to generate donors one day a year. The first year we helped nonprofits bring in about $119,000. The second year we were in the $350,000 range, and this past year, 2013, we raised $660,000 in one day for the nonprofits of Alexandria. When I say we gave them the skills, the capacity, and provided the platform for them to actually do that and to use some of those tools throughout the year in their fundraising.
I think because of the broad, comprehensive role of Act for Alexandria, of course, through organizations, you're providing assistance to seniors. But yes. And is there anything, what I want to particularly focus on is that I understand you've got an exciting new program with Senior Services that'll start in January, but are there things other than that that you can speak to in terms of specifically that might be available for seniors?
Well, a number of the grants that come from our donor advised funds go to organizations that assist seniors. And many of the programs that we help support have a very wide range of people in our community that they help to address. We are very pleased to be working with Senior Services for a January program as part of the speaker series on wills and estates. Interestingly, the research indicates that in our country, over 70% of the people in our country do not have a will, in all age ranges. And so it's not just a senior issue, if you will, but an issue that's one that should be brought to the forefront for a number of people, and particularly for a number of families. There are so many implications for not having a will in today's world.
None of us want to admit that we're seniors, although I think it's inevitable. But
it's not a bad alternative,
right? But tell me what is it that your program will do that will cause seniors, one, to be aware, and secondly, motivated to take some steps that probably everybody should do?
Yeah, I think it's not a negligence or anything of that sort. I think, first of all, it's a topic that people don't like to think about and don't like to talk about. But secondly, I think also time sort of gets in the way and life takes over, and the day-to-day things that come up put a little crimp in the opportunity to be able to follow through and do what you know you need to do, not just for you, but for those who follow you, for your family, for those causes you care about if you're thinking philanthropically, and for others in the community beyond your family that might be impacted by your
Tell
death.
me the framework of the January presentation that the two of you are working on.
Well, we're going to follow the format that we've tried and true for the speaker series. We'll get together. We're working on having a really terrific panel of experts and to talk about the issues that John has mentioned, but also I think to make them not simple, might not be the right word, but to provide a formula that makes it relatively simple for people to put things in place so that they can make their family aware of what their planning requirements are, and so they can take away that worry for them as well as for their families and loved ones. So we're very excited about doing the event with ACT. We'll be at Bethel Hebrew congregation. And expect to have a very large audience for this very important topic.
And this is the first time that there's been a joint activity between Senior Services and Act for Alexandria?
This type of joint activity, sure.
We work together a lot.
All the time, yeah. And I think that's why this seemed like a natural pairing when we started talking
How
with
is
John
this being
about it.
promoted, or how's word getting out on this?
Oh, goodness. The usual suspects. We're putting it out in all of the local media publications as well as on our own website and Facebook page and through this program as well.
So somebody that comes would come away with what are the basics, where do I get some help, what organizations, what particular individuals, do I need an attorney, do I need a financial planner, can I do it on my own, what are relevant websites, and to provide that information.
Right, and questions to ask. We hope to have a small handbook, that a step-by-step guide that individuals can take away with them and take to their tax advisor, their financial planner, their attorney, to talk these issues through and make it as easy and as simple as
That's-
A
possible.
checklist, if you
Sounds
will.
very, very
Yeah.
useful.
True.
What do you envision further programs as collaboration between senior services in the area for seniors? Anything else
I think in a variety of different
on the drawing
areas.
board that you might be thinking about?
Yeah, I think we certainly, I don't think the intent's to stop at one. I would hope that we would continue to collaborate, not just on the speaker series, but in a number of ways to help seniors in our community.
Oh, that's
being,
terrific.
Being one.
Okay. I plan to go,
Yeah,
so
We're
I think all of
expecting
us
you
can
there.
use it. Thank you very much. Well, I'm a senior. Well, good. Well, we're going to take a short break. Thank you very, very much for telling us about that program and a little bit about ACT for Alexandria. We've got our special treat once again this month. We're going to go to Chef Hans at Inova Alexandria Hospital, and once again, he's going to not only show us how to cook, but a nice, good, nutritious meal, not just for seniors, but for all of us. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Well, today we're going to make a quick and healthy quinoa tabbouleh. Tabbouleh is one of the more ancient grains there is all over the world. Actually, it's been around for thousands of years, harvested for a long, long time. And we're going to combine that with a very traditional, classic Middle Eastern dish called tabbouleh. And that's what we were talking about earlier, using fresh, flavorful herbs and grains with a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of healthy oil to make a great tasting dish.
So quinoa is one of the new super grains, right?
It actually, it's called the new super grain, but it is actually that ancient super grain that's been
boy.
around forever.
Interesting.
And quinoa is actually pretty tiny.
Oh, yeah,
if you look
it
at it,
is.
it's just really, really small and
Yeah.
wonderful, fully nutritional, protein-packed grain.
And it's readily available at grocery stores and markets.
Yep. You don't see it yet as much as you do on the pasta aisle,
Right.
but it's there. You've got to search for it a little bit, but it's always there by the grains and by the pasta aisles. Maybe on the top shelf somewhere, but you'll find it.
Great. Well,
So
very
what we
good.
do with the quinoa, first thing we do is we blanch it off in some water. I consider cooking quinoa like you cook rice. Basically, 2 parts water to 1 part grain. So once we take the grain, we put it in a small pot. Again, a 2-to-1 ratio of grain to water, and it comes out
see.
like this wonderful, puffed up, fluffed up little grain.
Oh, that looks
So when we cooked it, we just put a very little bit of pinch of salt in the
Right,
water,
right.
brought it to a full rolling boil, then put a lid on it, then cut the heat, and let it just sit there and fluff up and steam up just like this.
Oh, so it's easy.
Yep. So first thing we do to make the tabbouleh is we take the quinoa out of the pan. Then we have some fresh herbs. What I have today is some fresh chopped parsley. I have some fresh chopped scallion. I have some red onion, and in here also is some cilantro.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is the easiest thing to do because all we do is we mix the ingredients together, and I've got basically 2 cups of raw quinoa, which ends up being 4 cups of cooked quinoa. We mix it in with that, 1 cup of red onion. I've got some cilantro and some parsley. I've got the red onions. Mix those in together. Then I've got some fresh chopped scallion.
Smells good.
Yep. You get that wonderful green flavor out of there. We mix that together slightly. You see the wonderful flavors and colors we already
Very
get out of there.
colorful.
And then it's as simple as some fresh lemon juice to give it a little bit of pucker. I always call it pucker. Other words are already used to make it a little tart.
I like pucker.
Yeah. We use a little bit of olive oil. And the olive oil, just a little olive oil, gives it that smooth, rich flavor. We just want a touch just to moisten the palate, if you will. And then it wouldn't be cooking if we had a little bit of salt and pepper. And I like to use just a dash of salt and pepper. This is about a half a teaspoon and about a teaspoon of salt. So the wonderful thing about this salad is it can be served at room temperature, or it can be served chilled. If you're serving at a room temperature, works great with a hot entree, or you can serve it as cold as you want with a poached salmon or something chilled out of the refrigerator. It works either way. So once we have it, we just mix it up, let it sit, and that's service. It goes whatever your favorite serving bowl is.
Very pretty. Very nice. Oh, that's lovely.
All right. Really love you to try it.
Well, I'd love to. Let's see. Yummy.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. Bon appetit. That's very nice.
Hello, we're back. I want to thank you for being with us this evening. I'm Jim Roberts, host of Senior Living in Alexandria. Our guests this evening have been, of course, Mary Lee Anderson, Senior Services of Alexandria, and our special guest, John Porter of Act for Alexandria. Thank you very, very much for being here. I want to mention that the recipes presented by Chef Hans will be on the website. Please be sure and try those, look them up. And I do want to mention that we'll have some highlights from our November speaker series. That'll be the presentation on volunteer opportunities and job employment for seniors. And finally, in closing, I want to thank you very much for being with us. This is very, very appropriate to wish you the very best of holiday seasons, and we will see you in 2014. Thank you very much.
Exciting resources that we have launched and updated to help you find a job, start a business, or even if you're looking for some extra income this holiday season, we're here to help you out. So I don't know how many of you have heard of the program, but Life Reimagined for Work, which is online at lifereimagined.org/work, is something we launched a little over a year ago, and it's the first talent exchange that's dedicated to helping companies find experienced workers and to connect experienced workers with employees who really value their talent and are looking to fill their hiring needs. I'm delighted to say that 250 companies, both big and small, have signed a pledge over the past year saying that they value experienced workers and that they have immediate hiring needs. And combined, these companies have over 100,000 jobs posted to their websites. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities out there. For the past year, we've been working with the Small Business Administration to focus on encore entrepreneurship. About 7.4 million Americans over the age of 50 are their own boss. So this is one of the reasons why we partnered with SBA to get information out to people age 50 plus, who are interested in starting their own business or who perhaps want to expand their business. We also held 10 webinars, online interactive discussions this year on a variety of topics, such as financing your small business, steps you need to take to start a small business, and even how to promote your business online. So all these webinars are free, like all of our other resources, and you can view them on demand at your own convenience at aarp.org/moneywebinars. So what the Best Employers for Workers Over 50 Awards program does is, we honor employers who set outstanding examples of programs that help them retain, retrain, and recruit experienced workers. Older workers who are obviously a crucial part of making sure that the economy thrives.
Some people don't really know JobLink exists, and it's a very good resource, especially in these times when people need an extra eye out, helping them find them. One of the main functions is they do work with people who are applying for benefits, such as TANF, SNAP program, which is the food stamp program, and Medicare. Our other program that's pretty well known in the community is the Summer Youth Program. For example, this past summer they employed 400 students, and if you can imagine what our offices are like when you have that many teenagers all coming in mass groups. It's a very energetic time, kind of an exciting time, but they do get assigned to work for 6 weeks during the summer, and they get paid for it. And it's a great work experience for them to prepare them for when they do graduate. Now to the Experienced Worker Program. Our program is new this year. It actually formally went into operation May 1st. So far, I've had 50 clients come in specifically for that program. And it's a two-part program. One is a part where they meet with me, and I help them in there how to better do their own job search, give them resources, resources that are geared to anyone 50 and older. I show them resources on the computer also that they may not be aware of, and one of the ones that we do encourage them to use is the AARP job board, and also the Work Imagine. I've really enjoyed working with the people. They're very sincere. They come in. Many have been looking for a job for, in some cases, 2 years. And it's very normal for most of the clients to have been looking for a year now. And they can become somewhat discouraged by the time that I have a meeting with them.
Now, the CSET program is one that works with seniors 55 and older, and we work to place you on training sites. And everybody says, what's a training site? That's a particular location, such as a library, such as Senior Services of Alexandria. They actually are getting ready to put 2 of our people there. So these seniors will be working there on the job training. So it's a training program that helps you to get back into the workforce. We work out of Alexandria, Arlington, Fairfax, Prince William, and Loudoun. Is that fine? Okay. So what we do, I go out to different senior organizations. Anywhere there's a senior such as you, such as me, I go out and I tell them, don't give up hope. There is a program that may be able to help you. And I say the may because you got to be 55 or older. There's a certain income requirement you have to meet to do. So once you meet certain qualifications, income, age, a lot of different things, and it's not a difficult program to get into, then you may qualify. We place you on a training site, and from that, we help you to find a job.
We're here to serve you, so that's a nice thing. So if you decided, no, I don't want to go back into the workforce because I have done my service and I want to not to do 9 to 5, I want to keep it a little easier, we're your community resource for volunteerism. What that means is if you are interested in staying engaged, meeting with people, and want to volunteer, we can help you. The good news is the community needs you.
It's for those of you who want to have a job, but still maybe have time or don't have a job, and you're saying, this is my time to give back to the community. This is the Alexandria Tutoring Consortium recruits, trains, and matches people, not just seniors, people from high school students on, with kindergartners and first graders in the Alexandria City Public School grade, because our mission is to have all children reading by 3rd grade, where you can make the difference between a child becoming a dropout or a graduate. This is what you can provide, because you have the vocabulary, you have the expanded experience that interact with this child to sort of move them along using the lesson plans, helping them learn. You can be the difference between a child becoming a dropout or a graduate.
This is a great volunteer opportunity. You deliver meals to seniors who might not see anybody during the whole day, or sometimes several days. So what we do is we have about 8 routes within the city of Alexandria where we deliver meals to seniors. And we use our volunteers in teams. We have a driver and we have a runner. And the driver will drive the route and the runner will deliver the meals to the client.
Each student in the International Academy, in fact, I think in all of TC, has a computer, their own computer, a small laptop. The problem is, especially with the international students, they do not generally have an internet site in their home. And so they are somewhat limited in what they can do on their own, but they can take this computer home. So most of their learning is done in that classroom, and that's when they need someone who is a comforting person who can reassure them that they are making progress and to help them make it. It's a program that really relies on people who love learning themselves, but who also realize that it's hard to succeed in a country when you don't speak the language.
So I'm here today to ask you to consider an hour of your time per week to help with a kid. And what I mean by mentor is you're serving in the capacity of either advocating or being a friend or teaching, reading, spending time, listening.